and welcome to Infinite Realms. Once again, getting back into the old groove here after a pretty extended hiatus. If you're keeping score, this is Hasbro's third shot to win me over on the G.I. Joe Classified line. One of my favorites from a kid. From a kid? You see, I haven't lost it. I can still screw up a line no matter how hard I try. From when I was a kid. Destro. Now, this version of Destro is pretty cool. I do like that they took some elements and they updated them. This is what I really like, is that they update elements. They didn't go too flashy with the collar, which is cool because I don't like that big poofy collar that they sometimes have given Destro's figures in the past. I like the collar, but it be a little more subdued, and this is just about right. It could be a little shorter, but it works. His necklace is a separate piece, which kind of makes sense. The chest, that long debate. Is this his actual chest, or is this a shirt? Yeah, you can't really. The color is, one minute it looks orange, one minute it looks skin tone. It's hard to say. So that debate's going to continue, I guess. What I really do like, though, is the little bits of what looks like to be padding or armor that's on his back, his front, and his shoulders, and he also has elbow pads, which help hide that articulation a little bit. But I think it looks really good. Just add some detail there where there was none. And the wrist rockets are there and on the side, and they look pretty darn good. I like them. And on the other side, we don't have the grenades, but that's all right. It's not a huge deal. I really, Destro to me was that really cool character. I really liked him because he was the guy that got away at the end of the show. The first two miniseries, he got away. Second time, I believe Zartan jumped on the back of the Cobra claw. And I really like this version. I like the head, and it's not metal, but it's metallic paint, and the sheen on it is just perfect. I really like that. And now, I'm not a big fan of the golden gun in the holster. I just don't understand the golden gun thing. Is he the man with the golden gun from James Bond now? I hadn't heard, nobody had given me that memo. But oh well. His other gun is pretty nifty, I think. It's very different from the gun he came with originally back in the 80s, but it's looking like a real gun that somebody would use. I mean, I can see that being a real gun, but it looks very high tech at the same time. So that works for me. The case is really awesome. I love it. If you open it up, and it's a little difficult to open up. There's a trick to it, and it's a little tough to figure out. But inside is a computer and what looks to be money. Okay, good. Now, the old case, it had what looked to be a pretty advanced sniper rifle to be put together. I can see why they skipped that on this figure. Now, I could have gone for the classic boxed version of Destro, but couldn't find him at a reasonable price. I could find this one, ironically, at a reasonable price. And, also at the same time, I kind of want to see where with this one, I kind of want to see where the line started, what it looked like. And I think this gives me a better idea on that. Again, what I appreciate about the figure is that, it's very much modeled after the original, but, there's updates, there's changes, and it works real well on this case. Now, I have seen it on some cases where I don't think it works well, but with Destro, it definitely works. Now, my history with Destro came out in that second series, and that's, to me, where G.I. Joe really took off, was the second series of figures. The first series of figures were good, but they're kind of dull, to be blunt about it. And I thought the second and third series really took off and expanded the lore and the world of G.I. Joe dramatically, especially with characters like Destro. who was the enemy weapon supplier, who designed the Hiss tank, who blah, 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 did a billion things. And, later on they split him off to the Iron Grenadiers. And a lot of people were fans of that. I was iffy on it. I didn't understand this other faction, and it seemed to start complicating things a little bit. And so that I did like the gold-plated Destro and his despoiler. That was cool. But for the most part, I thought the Iron Grenadiers vehicles were trying to look high-tech and weren't really high-tech. They weren't practical. The Demon was a weird shape for a tank. The helicopter transforming into a tank. Oh man, I totally blanked on that right now. No, I'll figure it out later. But that one was kind of odd too. I mean, I could see the desire to make something like that, but how do you do it? It's just odd. Now, to be fair, the vehicles at that point were getting strange, so that can be forgiven. The Razorback, I never liked that one. That one, I just always thought that looked stupid. But that's me. Anyway, going back to the figure though, and going back to the character of Destro. For most of the time, I mean, the G.I. Joe media wasn't really that strong. There was another cartoon by Do It Cheap. That, and I've watched a few episodes of that. I'm kind of, come on. And then, of course, there was the comics. And, some people are fans of the comics, and I understand that. I'm not a huge fan of the comics. Don't throw rocks at me. Just not. I never have been. I enjoyed the original Sunbow cartoon just because it was cool. I mean, it was a cool cartoon, and I watch it now, and I still think it's a cool cartoon. It brings out the kid in me. So, wasn't really a whole lot of media, though, for a long time. There was nothing going on with G.I. Joe for a long time. And then you had Christopher Eccleston, a.k.a. Doctor Who, the Ninth Doctor, play a version of Destro in G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. And despite, that movie had a pretty impressive cast. And despite that, it just didn't work. It just did not work. It was just not there. And so, I could see Eccleston was trying really hard with his version of Destro, but it just didn't work. So, yeah. So now we get, up to this classified version. And, this is a really good update and upgrade to the original. And, again, I like it a lot more than I would have thought. So, there you go. That's my opinion on that. And let's do some comparisons real quick. Of course, Roadblock. And Destro and Roadblock are pretty close to the same height, which actually makes a little bit of sense. I always saw Destro as one of the taller dudes in the Cobra G.I. Joe. I think he works pretty well. I really like him a lot more than I thought I would. The only knock I really can think of is that golden gun. I just don't like the golden gun. I mean, that's easy enough to remedy, though. I could probably get another gun that would fit that holster. So, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and just rank this one 5 stars. Hasbro, you've done it. You really captured one for me. You did an excellent job. I like it. And, I mean, it's different enough to be different. But, obviously you're influenced by the original. So, yep, that's it for me. I'm going that route. So, if nothing else, buy yourself a Destro. Destro's cool. And that's going to wrap it up for today's Infinite Realms. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you later.